All right, so TNA's Victory Road 2012 pay-per-view. Uh, did either of you watch this, or was it just me that had to suffer through parts of it?
I did not watch Victory Road, so I really can't comment.
You gave me the stream, so yes, police. We did it together. We watched it together on stream,
he
but it
means
was
that
Tony's fault. He's the dealer.
he means that we paid a considerable amount of money and donated a lot of our charitable contributions to a worthwhile organization, and then we hugged a couple babies and did a bunch of other stuff like that, and
And we donated to sperm banks as well. I don't know if that's charitable, but it was fun.
it was better than the pay-per-view. All right, so to start it off, Billy Ray comes out. You know what? I'm not going to read exactly what happens throughout this whole thing because my throat's too fucked up. But Bully Ray immediately loses to James Storm after they decide that it's going to be a number one contender match. Not really much to talk about.
Yeah. Again, as you said, not very much to talk about. It's just one of those things. He cut this badass promo prior to the show, saying that he was going to hold the show up, and I think immediately when he did that, me and you both said the same thing, which was that it's probably going to end up being something shit, and it was.
Then we had the X Division Championship match. Pretty good match between Austin Aries defeating Zema Ion. Best part of the match, I thought, was when Austin Aries grabs a phone and decides to tweet about it midway through the match. And that Zema Ion didn't injure anybody else.
Yeah, I was really surprised that Zema Ion did not injure anybody else. All I can say to that is he still needs to go fuck himself, and that still doesn't help with the fact that he injured someone else. So yeah, fuck you, Zema Ion.
We had a commercial for the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm kind of expecting them to be the new tag champs, which brings us into the tag championship match. Crimson and Matt Morgan lost to Samoa Joe and Magnus. The story of the match was pretty good. It was basically Crimson trying to do the whole match himself, and then fucking Matt Morgan over and saying that he doesn't need him and all this kind of stuff. Match itself wasn't really that great though.
Yeah, it was just a bog standard match. I knew they were just going to use it to further the Crimson Matt Morgan feud, and I don't know, it just didn't really do much for me. It was like it was already watered down compared to what they had before. I really feel that they're just teasing and teasing and teasing too much. They should just be going for this now and having these guys feud.
Agreed. Um, we had Bobby Roode struggle with a promo. We had the Robbie E Open Challenge where he lost the television championship to Devon. Meh.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm happy for Devon, but he's still not on TV. He's still not on pay-per-views. That championship means less than shit. I could wipe my ass with that championship because it's like fucking toilet paper. It doesn't do anything. They should just get rid of it.
Well, don't
But
give them ideas because they keep changing the name of that championship. So pretty soon it's going to be
they'll
the
probably,
toilet paper championship.
they'll probably change it to the Knockouts TV championship because they'll probably think the Knockouts need a mid-card title. Ugh,
And then they'll give that to Gil
twats.
Kim.
Yeah, they probably would do. They give everything to Gail Kim, and then she gets big men piling on her and beating her for titles.
So that leads us into the Knockouts Championship. Gail Kim retained against Madison. Decent match. Better than what we're going to see at WrestleMania by far. The part of the match that I found the most interesting was when Taz was mispronouncing words, talking about people tweeting. And he said, instead of Mickey Maniac, he said Mickey Mannequin. Fucking guy.
That's Taz. He was never
Yeah.
like the best announcer in the world, was he?
No, not even close.
Exactly. He was like a second-rate Jerry Lawler. Let the pigeons loose. Yeah, and he's probably let some of his brains loose with it as well.
Hmm.
Again, this match was pretty much a piss break. I love Madison Rayne. She's a really sexy knockout, in my opinion. But Gail Kim, I think, is completely and utterly overrated. She needs to have that title taken off of her, and I don't know. She's it had no interest for me as far as I'm concerned. Let's move on to the next match.
AJ Styles and Mr. Anderson defeat Christopher Daniels and Kazarian with the Styles Clash. I wasn't really feeling the match. I wasn't really a huge fan of it.
Yeah, because you got three guys who work a rather fast pace, working with a guy who's rather slow. So, and again, they've dragged this feud on a bit too much. It's Daniels versus AJ. It's been like that for how nearly a year now. Do we really need to keep seeing this? No. They need to either get Christopher Daniels and Kazarian into the tag team scene now, or have Daniels win a title and have Kazarian as his backup.
Television title.
Yeah, exactly. He would bring like that title back to prominence. But again, TNA, if you're listening to me, which you probably do because you nick most of my ideas, think about this. If you're gonna have the fucking TV title, have something shocking. Have it on TV. TV title, TV. There's a coincidence that they're both named the same thing. But yeah, so I'd rather just see Daniels move on to something different now. And
Likewise.
as far as Styles and Anderson, I don't know. Just me.
Then we had Kurt Angle against Jeff Hardy. Kurt Angle cheats to win. Uh, I think so. I don't know. Everything was just a total mess at the end. The Hardy's arms weren't even down, and whatever. I didn't really like it.
Again, it's Jeff Hardy, the guy who says he's sober, but probably was wasted when he had this match. Um, it's one of those things where neither guy is in their prime. It looked really shoddy. They look like these two are one botch away from injuring each other, and
They should have just had a drinking contest.
should have, yeah, or a coke contest. See how many lines they can do on the table.
Hey, hey, hey! He's never touched a pill in 8 years.
Oh yeah, fuck off.
And he just gets them thrown into his mouth instead.
Yeah,
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Or hide them in his beer cans. Um, but yeah, as far as I'm concerned, both guys literally, I think they need to scale them back now in terms of their ring ability because they're doing way too much for what their bodies can handle. But it was an okay match, but it never stood out.
then we had the main event, which was Bobby Roode defeating Sting after Sting hit the Scorpion Death Drop, but at the same time banged his head on a chair that Bobby Roode had set up earlier. I thought it was kind of interesting end of the match, but I didn't really like the match itself. I mean, there's this kind of long running thing where TNA's main event uh, doesn't feel like a main event to me, and this was the same kind of thing as always. So, uh, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, the whole pay per view, I ended up giving it a 2 count near fall, and that's basically because the matches weren't as awful as they could have been, but they certainly weren't necessarily good.
It's one of those pay-per-views where they attempted to focus the pay-per-view around Sting and Bobby Roode. The issue I had with the pay-per-view is that there's no climax. Again, it goes back to the whole thing about story. A story needs to be told here, and yet you have this authority figure storyline, which makes no sense. Because usually the authority figure is a bad guy, and the bad guys literally trying to stop the good guy, the champion, from being the champion and try and get the belt off of them. Or if you want to reverse that, usually have the heel like Bobby Roode's character going after a babyface authority figure, but the authority figure still would never get in the ring with them until later on. You know what I mean? And because they've done it too early, the blow off of this match was just it just didn't work. And then he starts harassing Dixie Carter. 10
And
minutes
does
to kiss his ass.
basically nothing for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, and then no one, what made me laugh is that no one came out to help her. No, she was like sitting there begging the guy. I was waiting for him to actually take his knob out and piss on her. This is what you've done to the wrestling product. Ah.
And as I pointed
Um,
out, why wasn't Storm coming out? Wasn't the whole thing supposed to be that Storm's building up to a fight with him?
do you know what I mean? It again, no payoff.
Bunch of duct
Uh,
tape, and that's about it.
pretty much.
Duct tape? Are you serious? I had to.
Woo woo, you know it.
So that's it for the final part. Again, I want to apologize to everybody that had to turn up their speakers to hear me. Hopefully next week my throat isn't a complete fucking apeshit mess, and I can do a proper prediction thing for WrestleMania. I've wanted to do a big how we would book WrestleMania thing. I don't know necessarily we'll be able to, but at the very least, I'll figure out a way to get the WrestleMania predictions and everything, and the tournament Group C, and whatever the hell else happens like that. It's basically that's it as far as I'm concerned. Anything that we didn't touch upon that you guys want to talk about?
That's pretty much everything. It's been a slow week in terms of news at this point in time. So, apart from the fact that they're making Leprechaun, but yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. All I need to say is, people follow me on Twitter at Michael Bulhan. Rewriting the book is coming. A lot of people have been asking me about it. It is still coming. I'm just waiting for Tony to sort of heal up because he does one of the segments of the show. So I kind of need him.
Everybody does.
Everyone needs you, man.
Right. You'll see. You'll all see.
Woo-hoo, baby, please don't go. So yeah, that's pretty much that. And stay tuned. I've got more playthroughs coming on my YouTube channel, The Nerd Genius, and www.nerdgenius.com as well. So read my blog, check out my YouTube channel, and just stay tuned to Smark Out Moment Smack Talk for us just shooting the breeze about the regular wrestling events that happen during the week. Rayne?
Well, I can just give another cheap plug again and plug my YouTube page. That's www.youtube.com/spoodbeast, SPOODBEST. And yeah, other than that, it's been a pretty slow week for wrestling, so we can just hope that things, well, you'd hope that they'd heat up with, the last two shows before WrestleMania. So we'll see y'all next week.
All right, so that's it for episode 21. Thank you to everybody that listened. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out. See you next time. 5, 2,
This is the outro, and it's standing by. Listen to my style, listen to my flow. I'm sitting here watching the monitor, trying to think of something to say, but I'm here. And anyway, I'm singing to you, and I gotta say, TNA is shit. Dixie's a bitch, and she's taking a big dump on this wrestling shiz. You are, outro, outro. You are, outro, outro.
That's pretty good.
Outro, outro.
That works.